Greetings everyone, this is Reed and you're watching MOI. Today, I thought we would do a fireside chat to discuss today's wonderful topic. And for all of you new people here, welcome. I truly appreciate it. And I'm hoping we can build a really nice community. Right now we're really tiny, but I really hope as things progress, it'll grow. Because I've got a lot of stuff I want to share with everyone. And so if you would be nice enough to share this with some friends, get them interested, the more people we can get interested in survivalism, prepping, preparedness, and generalized science and technology is a big win. Well, at least I think so. And I hope you think so too. Because it is great to be able to get more people interested in this stuff. Personally, I think it strengthens the nation and makes all of us better. But today I do not have my soapbox, so I will not go off on that giant tangent. Today we're going to focus on something else. Why gardening will kill you after the collapse. So what the heck am I talking about? Isn't gardening important? Yes. But the problem is, it's gardening. Everyone can grow a little bit of something. You know, everyone kind of thinks about it, oh, no problem. If something goes wrong and, you know, it's all hell breaks loose and we've all got to return back to working the land, no problem. I've grown tomatoes in my garden year after year. It's not an issue. Well, when you scale up for how much food you need to grow, it becomes a severe issue. The logistics are absolutely murder. So I've been gardening. I enjoy it. It's like that. But a couple years ago, when looking at what's coming, because something's coming, I'm certain about that, I was thinking, you know, I need to do something. And so I'm going to transition from gardening to literally what is farming, growing a ton of my own food. Now, that transition is a very big one. Some of the issues you start running into really quickly is, like for me, like you saw my cucumber video, I got inundated with cucumbers. Well, cucumbers weren't the only thing I grew. I grew beans, I grew potatoes, I grew okra, I grew tomatoes, I grew radishes, I had potatoes, I had watermelons, I had corn, and particularly the beans and corn and stuff started coming in together. And I still have beans drying out that I need to go harvest. And that was the issue. I lost a fair amount of food in the logistics. I had to get help. So one of the things you're going to run into really hard is learning when to start your crops, when to schedule when things will become ready so that you can split the harvest out. Now the other thing is I weighed and analyzed how much I grew. I was impressed. I got quite a bit. And then I did the calorie count. And then I was like, oh boy, I'm a bit short for a year. In fact, I'm not even close. But this was a super good, big expansion of my garden. And I realized, okay, for the amount of food I want to grow, which is 1.5 years worth of food per season, and I'm going to include a greenhouse with that later, I need to have set up working for growing everything, all plowed, fertilized, plants everywhere. I need 1 acre to 1.25 acre. That is a lot. So for me and my wife, that gets really hard. So that's 2 people. 2 people. And we are going to grow like 2.5 acres and manage it ourselves. That's a problem. That is a lot of work, especially getting the land ready. Now the land out here also requires special care to fertilize it and get it going so that we'll feed things. I also discovered the types of beans I have available will actually feed the other plants. Once they get going, they will actually condition the soil and get my other plants going. But I did all my gardening, nope, not gardening, farming. I did all my farming without chemicals. Well, managing the pests was quite a surprise. Very hard. I didn't get pristine ears of corn. I got corn filled with caterpillar poop. Oh yeah, looks super tasty from someone that's totally used to buying stuff at the store, right? You think, oh, hey, or using pesticides for stuff here. Well, yeah, the caterpillars like the corn, and so I found out I had to share. I didn't want to share, and they left lots of presents behind. And let me tell you, you never hear a girl scream so much when we're unwrapping corn, and suddenly there's a worm in it. There's a ton of surprises. Giant, ee! And the ear goes flying. But we had to manage. The other thing I had to learn is that you have to be careful how you water your corn as it gets closer, because mold can set in really fast. And we had issues with that. It was a lot of work. And looking at what I'm dealing with, so the giant collapse happens. And as I've decided, I'm going to refer to it the Great Epoch, because it will be a grand epoch that forever changes the world for us, and everything is different. I won't have a job going to where I work and managing computers all day. Nope, I will be a farmer. Big change. So I'll have time to work the land. However, I'm going to be sore as holy hell. I'm not going to be used to this. Need to work on that. Endurance to handle that sort of strenuous exercise. It'll be very difficult. But I'll have time. But still, even when I think about how much I'm doing, how much I have to do to manage 2.5 acres, I just don't see an easy way. Well, of course there is no easy way. I don't see a good way to make certain I get enough food and make it. Now, it also drove home a point that I never considered before, was hunting and eating animals. These animals are out there grazing. They're eating for themselves. It's like that. You are literally picking up free labor if you can successfully hunt, because you're only expending the calories for the hunt. And if you can always be less calories than the meal provides you, and oftentimes much less, it's a huge win. Now, even if you raise animals on your farm, you can have them forage, get food around your fences and everything else, and it is also a huge win on the labor. When you look at meat for, quote, efficiency, as you see everyone talk about, yeah, it's a failure. Except when you factor in, you've got to do it all by hand, and it's all your responsibility. You may not have enough labor. The animal itself also is providing labor. Now, it also really drives home the point that I've long come to a conclusion to, is you have to form a community to survive. It's not going to be you. It's not going to be you and your family. You need a whole community. And like one of my long-term goals is to form together a group of people, and like I'm talking like 80 that are all interested, and we all close-knit together in one area. And this is what we're doing, working the land and surviving for ourselves. So when the Great Epoch comes and the world is forever changed, we will be ready. And we will be able to handle this change and manage it. So that is my point, is if you think that just gardening, that what you do, growing a little stuff like that, that you can just scale up and you will have no problems, you're in for a major shock. You need to manage and practice the land now so you learn what comes in when, what grows with what makes a good companion for other plants, what helps feed other plants. You've got to start discovering this. So all these other people on YouTube that show all these gardening things, they're showing things that work for them in their area. There's a huge difference between area to area. And like my area, I found out that lots of tips people had, like back to Eden gardening, fertilizing this way, doing that, they don't work. The Four Corners area, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah, we're weird. And like my area is quite strange in and of itself. Very different. I'm going to have lots of videos about what works well in my area to give you guys ideas to try for yourself. But you're going to have to go out there and try, to play with this, to get experience with it. Because the knowledge now, when it is not life and death, is what is going to save you when it is life and death. You will need this knowledge severely, and especially you're going to need to do it without fertilizers and chemicals. You're going to need to learn how to deal with the caterpillars, how to deal with the mold. And I will cover what I've discovered, but make certain to try it yourself. You've got to know. It's vital to discover what works for you. And then to be able to actually successfully grow enough to cover you, your family, and all the other people you need. And that's why I want a community, so that we can harvest together and work together, like the old-time communities. Very important. So, that's my rant. Not super big on, here's the little secrets to my gardening yet. We'll be coming on those. I wanted to give you guys something to think about. Some pieces of knowledge to chew on. I hope this helps. I hope it gets you thinking and motivates you to get out there and start working the land. So when this spring comes, get on it. This is Reed, out for now. But just let me finish this off before this kills me.